If people can form gangs, if people can form gangs, gang, well, if you can do that because they got ups, we got ups, shouldn't a union be marvelous? And as I've seen some, we are not African post. Well, if you don't want to be connected to the richest black man pre-colonial times, who was richer than Bill Gates, might we add, that's on you. He still was giving out gold. Okay. But you can, you can make a different decision or keep it. But that's what I'm saying. Like, if you got ops, why not link up? But I do remind you that other decisions exist. But I'm trying to persuade you to the decision I'm on. So, just take the loose ends back. And yeah, people in your gang are. So to repeat, because I did a little extra. But I was just saying. And if you don't want to be connected to a black man richer than Bill Gates in pre-colonial times, I remind you that other decisions exist and people in your gang are. Gang. Now, because y'all know where the Crips and everybody else formed, right? And even, there's Vietnamese gangs. They got gangs, there are a lot of gangs. But let's see. I said, who the fuck wanna, work against the will being mistreated? So it wasn't the Slavics, because that's where the word slaves comes from. Oh, that's not... Oh, no, that's not fair? Yeah, because that's how I came up to here. Well, I want to do things for you for resources versus slavery. Like, doctors want to go to school and learn or get the money. So they do. And then people be mad at Cuba because they still be making people be doctors, but they don't really be making people be doctors. We need doctors, but doctors don't get paid and absorbing about more than the rest of the population. So then the people who used to have that kind of way before did flee Cuba, and that's why they be talking us about Cuba, and that's why they had invaded Cuba before. Like, there's a thing called like the Bay of Pigs, and as y'all should know, or people don't, okay, other people can tell us more. There are Cubans in Miami, and some of them are very anti-black. And there's plenty of people who are anti-Haitian, unfortunately, because it was the first freed black nation. And the reason they're stereotyped as poor and war poor and are and stuff is because France is rich, because France was getting like billions from there every single year since they fought for their freedom. Did you hear that? France has been getting billions from Haiti or Haiti for 100 years or 200 years or however long I want to say is a long time. France has been getting paid from Haiti that whole time because the black people said, fuck this shit. Because they never agreed to it in the first place. But that goes into the deeper part, really, y'all, because we did kind of agree to it, but that's when you get to the spiritual element. And so that's why the super spiritual people are like, hey, y'all, this was just temporary. These people, this is just temp. They was trying, and now they about to do too much, y'all. I'm tired of this shit. Get together, link up, get the chairs. You feel me? That's not funny. But in a way it is, because y'all remember that energy from that time from Alabama. Wasn't it in Alabama? Yeah, it was in Alabama. Montgomery, Alabama. Oh my gosh. Because we know that city because of MLK. You feel me? And I just mentioned that with Africa Town, which leads to the stuff on the paper, because the most recent, what this comes from is somebody was like, we're not from Africa, because somebody else is being in the center. So somebody said we're not from Africa, and I said, then why do we have Africa Town, Alabama? And can you please tell me why every single human has great-great-grandparents, and how many does every single person have? And he said, well, wow, you really think Europeans could afford to buy slaves and do ships and something, something? And I said, no. That's why they rich now. Like, what you mean buy slaves? You got kidnapped. And then the people would be like, oh, Africans, so it's just Africans. First of all, it's deeper than that. That's not really true. And the Portuguese been kidnapping. And then there's like prisoner of war. There's a guy, I think his name is something History Channel on YouTube, and he goes into the specifics of like who was doing what, but it kind of, you could say it was like it became like some Crip and Blood thing, and then the Europeans came in and took advantage of that. It's like Crips owed the Bloods, but then maybe even before the Crips owed the Bloods, the Europeans was coming to kidnap the Crips. Does that make sense? And then they just were starting to kidnap everybody. You feel me? And then it was also like, well, if you don't give me somebody, I'm taking you. And there's also a period of time that it was mulattoes doing it. And not to blame them or anything, but there's somebody right now saying, because they're on our team, they're us. Like, that goes into the spiritual side. They are Black. But it's so vindictive. Because, like, this guy is calling himself Russian Moor because he wrote it Valdemar, and he wrote Moor at the end, Moor, so, like, Black Russian. And then even more so, he calls himself Putin in there, too, who is the leader of Russia right now. But right before he wrote Putin, he wrote Ras, and that made me think of Rastafarian. And then, like, you was all in a Black conversation trying to say something. So what are you, like, Black, but you're really a Russian? Or are you a Black who wants to be Russian? Or are you both? So what's going on? And if you both, that's me going into the point. And another evidence of the evidence is, like, when you go back to Haiti, which we just mentioned, the super, like, nah, fuck that shit, we rise up, or they betrayed after they had won, because they wanted to link with France and get some little bit of money. And then they did something horrible. Supposedly, now you got research, right? But people already did the research. Said that the more mixed Haitians who got their, there was a war, so they won. But then they was going to go like do a treaty with France or whatever and talk. Those people went to France and they acted like they was going to have a dinner for them. And then they killed them in a real violent way. And then they showed them their dead bodies as a gift at the dinner. Y'all don't hear me. But you can learn from an author. It's written down. Or you can go on YouTube and type in John Henrik Clarke as an example. Type in John Henrik Clarke on YouTube and like listen to something. Or you can read. And if you start from there, you find other people in other books. Okay, so we're talking about kidnapping, and I said it's not a transaction, right? It's not really a transaction because did I say I want to do this? You feel me? It's kidnapping. And so right here on the paper, we have American Russian. Now, American Russian is a term on African American because people come and kidnap you, right? So it would be like people come and kidnap you, and in the future, there are American Russians. And we don't want that. We don't want American Russians in the future because it's not American Russians. It'll be worse than that. You feel me? And nobody want to go through to get to American Russians what we had to do to get to African Americans. You feel me? You trying to live your life, be whatever you want to be, ain't you? Right now you might, or maybe you're just trying to get through it, but I know you ain't trying to go through it. You feel me? So we don't want that, and actually worse than that, because in secret, it's actually all the countries linked up. There's no escape, like how it was in the Underground Railroad. And the Underground Railroad usually led to Canada. Then we got Canada to 6, Obama, Drake, Kendrick, and Alaska. Because you got the 808, like the 808 drums. And Metro on the drums. LOL, no LOL. The 6. It's Canada 6.